It's mailbag time. Welcome to the show. It's Fantasy Football Today on Friday, January 30th. And this is Fantasy Football Today presented by BetMGM. Make it legendary. First question of the day. Will Dan show up? I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking at some point he's going to show up and he's going to say, well, nobody told me what time the show was, and I thought it was at 12 like it usually is. And he's going to have a decent excuse here. But, Jamey, do you think he'll show up?
I do. I think he's going to show up in a panic. He's going to be pissed off at you. He's going to be somewhat mad at me. And then he'll settle in. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, nobody told me what time it was. Am I just supposed to guess? Just supposed to know that it's at 10 o'clock? Yeah, usually the Friday mailbags were at noon, but today we did it at 10, but we never told him the time. So we tried calling him. It went straight to voicemail. Was he sleeping? Just a lot of mysteries right now with Dan, but we're hoping to get him. We do have news and notes. We have your emails at fantasyfootball@cbsi.com, and we've got some tweets as well. Someone asked us what cartoons we watched when we grew up, so we'll answer stuff like that, but mostly football. And speaking of football, Drake May does have a shoulder injury, but Mike Vrabel doesn't think Drake May will be limited by his shoulder injury in the Super Bowl. Of course, if he did think that, he wouldn't tell us that. But for what it's worth, they're downplaying the shoulder injury. All right. I know where Dan is. He is spiraling. I've been on a group text with him. Once the Browns hired Todd Monken, spiraling. Oh, the Giants, who are they going to have as their offensive coordinator, this and that. So he is struggling right now. But the Browns did They did hire former Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken to be their new head coach. And what do you think about that, Jamey?
I think it comes down to the Jimmies and Joes versus the X's and O's. So Monken could have a great system, great offense, great everything. He needs players. Now, I think the one thing that you look at is obviously wherever he's been, he's done a good job with his run game. A lot of that has had to do with the running backs specifically in Baltimore. You have Derrick Henry, things are going to go well for you. But I think this is a good thing for Quinshon Judkins. If he gets the quarterback in place, then I think we can, say there's a chance for this passing game to be good. I know he's got a Pro Bowl quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, but a lot of work to be done there. Need some, need some better pass catchers to help Harold Fannin and hopefully still Jerry Jeudy. But this is very much a work in progress. This team needs a lot of help.
Todd Monken was the offensive coordinator for 3 seasons for Baltimore. In those 3 seasons, Lamar Jackson completed 2/3 of his passes, had a 7% touchdown rate, and averaged 8.4 yards per attempt. The completion rate is whatever, but 7% touchdown rate, 8.4 yards per attempt, unbelievable.
But that's also Lamar Jackson.
Well, his first 5 seasons in the league, you know what? Let's eliminate his rookie year. Let's just look at the 4 seasons before Monken. He had a 6.4 touchdown rate. He averaged 7.4 yards per attempt, a full yard per attempt worse.
Yeah, again, you get great players. You're going to make them better if you're a good coach. He doesn't necessarily have great players right now. That's the unfortunate thing.
The Eagles hired Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion to be their offensive coordinator. We don't know who's going to call plays. Sirianni called plays in 2021 with the Eagles, and then he stopped, and he never did it. He never took it. I don't think he took it back. If he did, it was short term. So what do you think of this? Eagles going with a name I don't think we were expecting. Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion as their offensive coordinator.
Look, you hope that he comes from a good place, and clearly the Green Bay offense has been solid. Again, he's got good pieces to work with. Really the big question mark right now is the next domino. Is A.J. Brown staying or is A.J. Brown going? I think we could all say you're still going to draft the Eagles players in a relative similar range to where they were even going last year. We've seen in the 3 drafts so far, Barkley slips a little bit, A.J. Brown slips a little bit, Devontae Smith slips a little bit, Jalen Hurts slips a little bit, but you're still drafting them for the majority of the group, including Dallas Goedert as starters or borderline starters. I don't think this necessarily enhances that. So it's still TBD. Oh, we got a text from Dan.
Yeah, he thought it started at noon. I am so confused. The original text, Schaefer, did you chat GPT this?
I used Grok and I said, keep this text exactly the same, just add 10 a.m. So now I'm gaslighting Dan. All right, originally I didn't have the time when I asked him to be on the podcast.
That's amazing. All right, so Thomas sent a group text a few days ago to me, Jamey, and Dan. And he said, hey, Jamey and Dan, are you guys available for a Friday mailbag this week? That's all it said. Jamey said yes. Dan said, I am. Then this morning, because Jamey texted me asking for the time. This morning, I texted the group, 10 a.m. start, FYI. And then we never got a hold of Dan. And then Thomas, we're calling him, we're texting him. Jamey says, Dan, where are you? Thomas sends a screenshot of the group chat, except he adds the time, 10 a.m., which he never originally put. And he says that to Dan, and Dan says, sorry, guys, I thought we were doing noon. I totally messed up. Now I realize. But is he coming on or what?
Had to jump in the shower, fix his hair.
Come on. Let's go, Dan. All right.
Barrel up his chest.
Let's Philadelphia. So right now, what's your level of optimism for the Eagles offense? Scale of 1 to 10.
I mean, they finally have somebody. It seems as if everybody was turning this job down, or at least not, getting the job. I don't, you never know if they just said, okay, we weren't interested in the people that they were interviewing. I was always kind of optimistic. You said this yesterday or whenever we did our bounce back show, the 3 offenses that you were, encouraged by doing better in 2026. This was one of them. They have really good players. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is still a really good fantasy quarterback. The 2 receivers are still really good. The running back is still really good. The tight end is good. Like, there's a lot to like here. So, yes, I'm encouraged.
Okay. Dan said he's going to hop on now. I was so used to noon, I didn't even check this. Okay. Kirk Cousins.
The response. Maybe he's struggling to peel off his nose, the strip. He's looking for a medium shirt.
What do we got? Kirk Cousins expected to be released. The Falcons, by the way, hired a new GM, Ian Cunningham, who was the assistant GM for the Bears for 4 seasons. So Cousins expected to be released. Stay in the AFC South. Carolina running back Jonathan Brooks is hopeful to be ready for minicamp, but not certain about that. Who's
hit a 3-pointer at Hornets in warmups.
Hey,
he didn't jump though.
Who leads the Panthers in rushing in this 2026?
I'm gonna say Chuba, just because I don't know if Rico's back. I will say that just with the Kirk Cousins news item that you mentioned, doing the Superflex draft is very fascinating to see the quarterback pool and what that will be next year. There he is.
Since when did we not do this at noon?
Off season.
Very clearly, it said 10 a.m. in the text.
Wow, I am really struggling in this off season here.
I think your mic settings are wrong too.
Mic settings are off. I'm sick.
I'm not sure about that. Oh, you're sick again? You're always sick.
Again, the mic settings are off. For some reason, my mic isn't even on. This is even worse. My mic isn't even registering. I need to go out of here. I'll be back.
There he is.
Thanks for coming on, Dan. Let's
Dan Schneier experience, folks.
Oh my gosh. All right. Were you done with Cousins? Whatever.
No, I was going to say is like the quarterback pool is going to be fascinating to see like where some of these guys end up. Cousins, Tua, Kyler, if he's let go, Rodgers, if he decides to play and leaves Pittsburgh. Like, there's a lot of moving parts for some of these veterans, and it's going to be interesting for Superflex. So we had, I don't know if we'll review the draft again, but we had 19 quarterbacks drafted in the first 3 rounds.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe 4 rounds.
Oh, hey.
The mic's back. What happened there? Mic's broken. Got all sorts of issues today.
This is one of your greatest hits, buddy.
This is one of my worst hits, but it's okay. How you guys doing today?
Good. Doing well.
What happened to the noon start time? It's the off season. I got to get my act together.
Yeah, that's okay.
We do it at noon in the regular season to wait for some news.
Yeah. Well,
you have some stories?
No, I just got one story.
What's it about?
It's about a concert I was at recently.
Okay. We'll save it. We'll save it for a little later. Joe Brady, new coach of the Bills, he said he was one of the ones who stood on the table for Keon Coleman, and that his promotion to head coach is the best thing that could have happened to Keon Coleman. So Joe Brady is a Coleman guy.
I think it's the best thing that could happen to James Cook. I was very nervous about James Cook. If you look at the stats of James Cook pre and post Joe Brady, it's basically night and day. So him staying there with Buffalo is going to be the biggest thing that could happen.
Wasn't pre-Joe Brady just his rookie season?
No, was it just his rookie season? It might have been.
Well, Brady took over halfway through the 2023 season.
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's
that's
just it's a certain amount of games with Joe Brady and without Joe Brady. It's a totally different. The volume is like night and day.
You know what the difference between night and day? Night is when we sleep. Day is when we work.
Well, sometimes you can't sleep at night and your alarm just doesn't go off and you have a bad day. Everyone's had a bad day here
Yeah,
and there, here and there. Not here. Here is just me.
Not
Josh
a bad
Allen.
day. You're just
That's
uninformed.
great day. Yeah.
I was also uninformed. I did actually think that we were doing
I
this.
mean, Thomas had the text pretty clear, 10 a.m.
Well, I just saw, are we in for mailbag? We haven't done a mailbag in a month. And then after that, Adam said 10 a.m. start, and I just didn't check back on the text.
Look at the screenshot that Thomas just sent you.
No, and then I did realize I just saw mailbag, and I was so excited. I just said, yes, in. I didn't even read the rest of the text. This is on me.
No, we should tell you that Thomas did not include that in the original text. He photoshopped, but he like altered the text.
I got photoshopped. Okay.
So it was not
feel
really
a little less bad, but still should have been on more on top of this.
Wasn't your fault. Josh Allen had
It is
surgery
my
for a
fault.
broken bone in his foot. He said he'll be back for OTAs. And football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. Bummer. But if this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM, make it legendary. Dan, did you not get sleep last night because the Giants still don't have an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I'm losing sleep over the Giants offensive quarter situation. No Todd Monken. No, I don't know. I got to get my sleep back on track. I was doing great for a little while, and now we've fallen off the wagon. So I don't know what it is. I think it's also because I'm a little sick.
It's sickness with this guy.
Jim Bob Cooter. You're going to get Jim Bob Cooter.
I feel like I become you. I said so much about how often you were sick, Adam, that it's like a curse that's been put up on me.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to read your emails at fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey and the curse of 400 touches after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
So email from Paul. Paul says, everyone knows the stats about a running back getting 400 touches and not being able to repeat the next season. How many of the previous running backs would have also been wide receiver ones the way that Christian McCaffrey was this past season? And does that affect your opinion on his draft position this year? I think the gist of it is, well, I don't know. There's two things too. Like, obviously, Christian McCaffrey, an incredible season with the receptions, but he didn't have quite as many carries as some of the guys who are in the 400 touch club. Saquon Barkley last year, including the playoffs, Barkley had 436 carries. Christian McCaffrey had 337. He had 99 fewer carries than Barkley, including postseason. So, Jamey, when we factor that in, and there is a typical drop-off of running backs who have 400 touches, including Christian McCaffrey twice, this is his third time with 400 touches. The previous two times he played 3 games and 4 games the following year. But does the allocation of touches between rushing and passing, or receiving rather, matter to you?
So the beginning of this real study was from Football Outsiders, and it was the curse of 370, and 370 meaning the carries. And that's typically in the regular season. At least that's what the initial study was. So what we've seen from McCaffrey is obviously different. The fact that we're 2 years removed from this, or a year removed from this, depending on whatever time frame you want to attach to it. 2023, he had over 400 total touches. 2024, he plays 4 games. He's now going to be 30. And so the risk is amplified even more. I'm very curious whatever study they're going to find with this electromagnetic waves that are coming from the power plant near the practice facility. If that has any merit to it, I doubt it. But in any event, you're talking about an older player, a lot of work. I'm going to have the same feelings about McCaffrey that I had about Barkley, and it was around this time that I started to bring it up. That you have to be concerned about players as they get older with a lot of mileage on their body. Now, Derrick Henry has obviously proven that wrong. And 2 years ago, we had these 30-year-old running backs that all did fairly well. Aaron Jones was one. Trying to think. McCaffrey was, or 28 plus year old running back. I shouldn't say 30. Henry was one. Aaron Jones was one. Alvin Kamara was one. They all had good seasons. They had their hiccups along the way. Jones missed some time. Kamara didn't finish the year. I think if you're drafting McCaffrey, you have to make the investment in his backup, whoever that may be. Remember, Brian Robinson is a free agent now. So it could be we're back to Isaac Orendo again, or they could add another running back. But I think that's if you just want to make the investment in the 49ers backfield, knowing that the number 2 guy, whenever he's been the number 2 guy, Garendo for that stretch in 2024, throughout the years, Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert and all these other guys that have stepped up, I think you'll hopefully get good replacement value. You won't get McCaffrey replacement value, but if McCaffrey plays 8+ games, 10+ games, and doesn't miss 15, 14, then you should be okay. So I'm still going to have him ranked as a first-round pick. I'm not going to tout him as a top 5 overall pick. I'm not going to certainly tout him as the number 1 running back, but I'll have him in a similar situation that I had Barkley, which is a back end of round 1 selection.
As the resident Christian McCaffrey truther here, I feel like I have to at least rebuttal that, considering I had him ranked RB1 this year going into this year. I even feel a little bit queasy about taking him. We just did our Superflex. I don't know if you talked about this earlier, Jamey, but he was just sitting on.
We did a whole show before you showed up. Yeah,
I know that much, but I don't know if you talked about this specifically. He was just sitting on the board in our Superflex draft. Picks were rolling by, and I get the feeling it's going to be like that in a lot of drafts this year, even for people like me who believe in him and believed in ranking him 1 for a reason, but did it coming off a year where he wasn't, he didn't have a lot of touches last year. Now coming off the year where he did have touches, it's a little different. I just feel also like if you look at these situations individually, are we like saying Barkley didn't do well this year in fantasy because of the touches? Or are we saying Barkley didn't do well because the Eagles offensive line completely collapsed? They were injured all year. There was nowhere to go. His yards before contact plummeted this year, just absolutely plummeted. And he's a different kind of back. He's a back who relies on yards before contact. Even if you look at his time with the Giants, like he needs that little bit of space so he can cut and go. He's an explosive back, Barkley. So I almost feel like, and he was never getting receptions with the Eagles. I almost feel like that was a bigger reason for his collapse than the touches the year before. I don't know how much of a drop off he had athletically or anything like that. But with that said, McCaffrey's older than Barkley was going into this year. And that also factors in as well. What are we at with McCaffrey now? Is he on the wrong side of 30 yet? I know he's up there. He's close.
He turns 30 this summer.
Right. So that's another factor in this too, I think.
Maybe if there's
I think the one thing with just Barkley, and I know, Dave also had similar feelings about Barkley with the touches. For me, it was also the 2,000-yard season and what that historically has been also. Adam, do you have Barkley's stats in front of you? I was trying to pull it up.
Yeah.
What do you rush for?
This year?
Yeah.
No, I don't have those stats. I'm sorry. I have his points per game, the difference between the year before. Okay, this year he rushed for 1,140 yards.
So
That's
that,
really bad.
again, track record continues. I think just the point, what I mean by that is every 2,000-yard rusher had a 500-yard decline or more.
Wow.
So to your point, Dan, about athletically losing something, and Adam brought this up a few times. Like when he got in open space, you still saw the speed. So It all kind of works together. I think anytime you have success from that position, clearly it's the offensive line working well, it's the offense working well, it's the quarterback working well. And you look at the 49ers right now, they're probably going to be without one of their best blockers in George Kittle to start the season. Who knows what Trent Williams, where he's at physically. This offensive line is continuing to retool itself. And I think as we see with this receiving core, there's going to be a lot of changes because Brandon Ayuk gone, Juwan Jennings may be gone. Ricky Pearsall, can you ever count on him? So there's a lot of stuff that's, moving parts here for the 49ers. I think if McCaffrey stays healthy, he's going to be fantastic. But will he stay healthy? Will he be the same guy? And I think if you're just understanding that, okay, am I getting an 18-point per game guy? Am I getting a 15-point per game guy? And am I getting a guy that's going to miss time? So wherever you have the sliding scale, I think is where your comfort factor will come in with him.
I'll say this. I'll go as far as saying this, just to wrap it up. I will have no concern at all with him scoring a lot of points if he's on the field, be it based on the receptions. No concern at all.
If you want to be encouraged, I think one guy you could compare him to would be Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell in 2016 had 405 touches. McCaffrey just had 450. Le'Veon Bell had 326 carries. McCaffrey had 337. Bell had 79 catches. And McCaffrey this year had 113 catches. What did Le'Veon Bell do the next year? He was worse, but he had another 400 touch season, and he was RB2 per game.
But he was like in his early 20s at that
point.
The
age is much different. Ezekiel Elliott's another guy. 2018, he was actually RB6 per game, averaging over 22 points per game, which is insane. Usually that's like RB1. The following year, he averaged 2.4 fewer points per game, but still almost 20 points per game. He was RB6 again. So there are examples of guys who have followed up 400 touch seasons with really, really good years. Unfortunately, there are Christian McCaffrey twice who followed up 400 touch seasons with 3 and 4 game seasons. All right, next question comes from WDF. And he says, reflecting on the season, wondering why certain underperforming wide receivers were busts, basically. There are many, but I'm specifically thinking of DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., and Jerry Jeudy. And he's kind of asking, is it schematically, like, what is the reason why these wide receivers were bad? Did Brian Thomas Jr. not fit into Liam Cohen's system? Did DJ Moore not fit into Ben Johnson's system? So he gave these 4 specifically. You can focus on whoever you want or just the general question. But Dan, DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Jerry Jeudy. What do you think were the reasons for these bust seasons?
I could just do quick I think they're all individually different. DJ Moore, it was an issue of I don't think him fitting into the system. I think it was an issue of that system taking a long time to get going from a passing standpoint. Once it got going at the end, it was hard to predict who was going to get the bulk of anything. It was typically Loveland, sometimes Burden, and Moore had some big plays. Marvin Harrison Jr., injuries, and then not clicking with the quarterback, even though Michael Wilson was able to. Very interesting situation. I think you could genuinely say, if you watch the Cardinals tape, because that's what Jake and I watched a lot of Cardinals tape, Michael Wilson was a better receiver than Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not really even debatable on tape. Michael Wilson tempos his routes. Michael Wilson doesn't declare his routes. Michael Wilson is more explosive getting in and out of his breaks. He was the better receiver at getting open. So that's why he got the ball. And what were the other 2 examples there?
Brian Thomas Jr. and
Brian Thomas Jr. was hurt and just did not play good football. What was the other one?
Jerry Jeudy.
And then Jerry Jeudy had Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. They combined for the 2 lowest combination of EPA and CPOE, completion percentage over expectation, the 2 worst quarterbacks in the NFL by those numbers. So you can't succeed. I mean, Jerry Jeudy may not be a good player too, but you can't succeed with that kind of quarterback play.
I think in the case for Jeudy and Moore, and maybe even Thomas, a lot of it was the target volume disappeared, and so, that was a big part of, I think, their failures. The one with Marvin Harrison, I don't know if I necessarily agree with not connecting with the quarterback, because I don't think he really had time to connect with Brissett because of the injuries. And so I don't disagree. I think Wilson definitely showed that he was the better receiver, but I think that also comes with being a more established guy in the league and understanding things a little bit more than Marvin Harrison did. Because when Harrison was healthy, he was still the guy getting fed. And when he got fed, he actually produced. And so I think, if you want to just take the easiest way to explain it fantasy-wise is target volume, and that's the biggest thing. Like, whenever these guys have gotten targets in their careers, Jerry Jeudy especially, you go back to 2024, he was finally getting targeted, and he was great. And so, DJ Moore was a byproduct of, like you said, Dan, slow start, and then, here's Loveland's time, here's Burden's time, and the beginning of the season it was Odunze's time, so it was just, I think all these guys really struggled to get the same amount of volume that they've had in previous year or years. And in the case of Thomas, I think that was the answer, is that he did not fit into Liam Cohen's system, which is why you have to be a little bit nervous about him next year, knowing that they added somebody else midseason. We don't know yet fully what Travis Hunter's role is going to be. And now Parker Washington has emerged as this guy that Trevor Lawrence seems to love. So you're competing now with 4 or 5 guys, depending on how you feel about Brent Strange.
Yeah. The meta of it, though, is also that. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Oh, these guys have had target problems. Marvin Harrison Jr., his entire career so far, his target per out run rate, 21.5% as a rookie, 19.1% in his second season, 19.1%. Like, that's just not good.
Real low.
But what is that with Brissett in those games?
You know what? Here's what I have. Michael Wilson emerged in weeks 11 and 12. before that, there were 4 games. All right, here we go. Ready? This is the season for Marvin Harrison. His first 5 games of the year with Kyler Murray, he had 32 targets. He was on pace for 1,040 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 109 targets. Not good enough. His next 4 games with Jacoby Brissett, he had 35 targets. I don't know what his target per route run rate was. Brissett was obviously throwing the ball.
He missed one of those, or he left early one of those games.
I was right. His next 4 games with Brissett. I did not count. I did count the Bucs game where he left early with an injury. He played 61% of the snaps and was having a good game. 6 catches, 69 yards on 7 targets in about 3 quarters. But he was on pace for 149 targets in those 4 games with Brissett. He left one of those games early. His last 2 games, he left both of them early. He got 3 targets in those 2 games. But then I saw this, right? So Michael Wilson, he emerged in weeks 11 and 12. From that point on, Marvin Harrison Jr. played in only 3 games. And in those 3 games, when Marvin Harrison Jr. was on the field, this was really interesting. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson all had 10 to 11 targets. It's a very small sample size, but nobody really stood out, including McBride, in those last 3 games for Marvin Harrison Jr. when he was on the field. Because he didn't play that much in any of them, but they all had 10 to 11 targets. They all had a target per route run rate of basically 18% to 19%. But yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. has never drawn a lot of targets, at least so far in his career. DJ Moore had a 15.3% target per route run rate, which is pathetic, and a 16% target share. I don't know that it was necessarily his fault. It just, Caleb did not look to him. And Brian Thomas Jr. is another guy. His target per route run rate went from 25.5% as a rookie to 19.4% as a sophomore. I think you really want to see it around 22% or higher if you're going to be a reliable top 24 kind of wide receiver.
And I would imagine for Thomas, it really spiked in those final 10 games or so when Mac Jones was there and everybody was hurt.
And then I think the meta of it is we've seen lately, throughout the last 2-3 years of football, teams are running the ball more. They're getting lighter boxes they're running to, and they're choosing to run. But also, teams are starting to use more 12 personnel and 21 personnel and even 13 personnel. There have been a few teams that have leaned on 13, which is 3 tight ends and a receiver. All of these things mean spread out targets, different players getting targets. Also, if you mention those 4 receivers, they all share something in common. They run very few routes, and you could correct me on this with a Naser stat or a true stat if it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure just from watching football, this is right. All 4 of those guys we mentioned run very few routes out of the slot. They're all isolated boundary receivers, and that's always something that can get lost in an offense. If you're playing on the boundary and your quarterback is not somebody who's going to hit a backside dig or who's going to throw the type of routes that you need to work on the boundary and to get kind of volume on the boundary, I don't think any of those 4 quarterbacks did, then it's going to be a problem for you in fantasy. And you saw it. You just mentioned all those target shares. They were insanely low. Judy, all 3.
Well, one guy did, and we just didn't see Harrison play with him a lot in percent.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals were 4th in highest rate of 3 tight end sets,
right?
More than 2 tight ends. And the Bears were 6th. All right, Next question.
I'll say this just about Harrison. I'm going to draft him a lot if the right coach is there and we get a pocket passer. If it's Kyler again, I'm out. But if it's even Brissett as the bridge quarterback, I'm going to be very in on Marvin Harrison.
I feel like that'll be me for Michael Wilson.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be at ends there.
Jeff from Charlotte wants to know if Jamey has a favorite NFL team.
I did. So I grew up a Dolphins fan. Was a Dolphins fan probably from the time I was, I think, 6 till through college. My first job out of college. So when I was in journalism school, they really drilled into our heads. You cannot be fans of the team that you cover. And so obviously I was at the University of Florida. I was a fan of the Gators. They made us lose our fandom or tried to lose our fandom. And so when I became a professional journalist and was covering the Dolphins, my first newspaper was a very small one called the Boca Raton News. And then I worked at the Palm Beach Post. So I was covering the Dolphins a lot. And I remember the first season I covered was Dan Marino's last season. And so being the biggest Dan Marino fan growing up, that was hard to do. And I remember there was one game, this was actually a fantasy thing, but it was Dolphins related. I was in the far corner of the press box where my seat was. And the Dolphins were in that end zone on the other end. And I had Randy McMichael, tight end of the Dolphins, on my fantasy team. And he scored a touchdown. And I remember this exact thing happened. I did this when he scored a touchdown, and I did this so that nobody saw me.
So that was
At
a
that
fist
point, I
pump
was like,
for a touchdown, and then hide the fist pump after.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult to lose that. I think if they and just being transparent, if they were successful, it would have been probably easier to root for them. As poorly as they played, it's been easy to not have that fandom. And I was hoping when my kids were born that they would pick a team or associate themselves with teams. They just haven't. I think that's kind of natural for kids these days, that they see players everywhere. Like when I grew up, obviously, I think you guys are somewhat similar, even though I'm older than both of you. You rooted for the team that you saw all the time, and so I didn't have a basketball team, and there was no basketball team in South Florida. I grew up a Lakers fan because all I saw was Lakers Celtics, and I love Magic Johnson. The first baseball team I rooted for was the Mets because there were no Marlins. So the teams that you saw, you kind of gravitated towards. So I would like to root for an NFL team again, but I just don't see it happening most likely.
Okay. Next.
If you were to, what team would you pick?
I muted you for a reason. Dan.
I thought it was because my mic was
no, it's because we're taking 10 minutes on every question. We have so many, but that is a good question. If you were going to root for another team, who would it be?
I don't know. That's a great question. I really don't know.
All right, well, you can root for the Giants with us. That's fine.
He would never pick the Giants. He wants to troll us. That's the.
I will say, watching my friends as fans, like Dave will get mad at me for saying this, but like he used to do these bear down meetings in the office with a couple of coworkers, and I wanted to vomit. Seeing my friends and how they get all emotional over their teams losing. I feel bad for them. Like I'm glad I don't have that anymore. Yeah, Pete Stoyanovich, every field goal, I would leave the room as a kid.
Wasn't he good? I thought he was really good.
He was great, but I couldn't watch. Like I was like, he's gonna miss. And this is when like 40-yard field goals were difficult. Now that 60, it's like a tough one.
Yeah. All right, this one's from Wesley. Dear Tank, Cadillac, Peyton, and Carry On.
All Johnsons?
All one-year wonders.
Are they all Auburn?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Tank is Auburn.
Carry On Johnson, not all from Auburn. Tank.
Brandon Jacobs, did he say?
No, no one said Brandon Jacobs. Where did you get Brandon Jacobs from?
Auburn. He was at Auburn for a little while before transferring.
Give me the names again.
Tank, Cadillac, Peyton, and Carry On.
Tank, Cadillac, Peyton, and Carry On. I think one-year wonders.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Everyone has that one league that is most important to them. The one that they are about, the one they care about most for bragging rights, prize pool, and legacy. What is the most important league to the FFT Mailbag crew, and why?
I mean, for me, it's not even close. It's my home league. My home league, we started an auction draft, which at the time, not a lot of people were doing, in the 2006-07 season. I was a junior in high school. And to this day, I think we're in year 19. It was a keeper auction league. We've gotten rid of keeper because there's too many problems with it. To this day, I think one more. So there's 12 members. 7 are still original members. We've replaced 5 teams, but to this day, it goes strong. The group chat's amazing. The emails are amazing. There's fights. There's drama. There's all sorts of things. It's not even my most expensive buy-in league, but it's by far and away the one I care about the most.
Jamie?
I have 3 like that. One's my oldest running league, which is friends from college. One that guys I used to play softball with, some former coworkers, nobody that was ever on air with us, I think, but former coworkers that I used to play softball with. And then one that is my most expensive one. I just get, excited about that one just because I like to win it. But those would be the 3 that I pay them. I shouldn't pay the most. Those would be the 3 that I check the scores first.
Okay. For me,
that's a good way to that's a good barometer for it. Which score do you check first? Yeah. I think that's the way to know.
Did we show this one yet? Johnny Airport said it invented auction draft.
I didn't invent them, but I've the strongest proponent of auction drafts you'll find. Everyone should try
when you do an auction draft, put a little prosciutto. Get a little prosciutto during your auction.
A little prosciutto on it. I've actually, I found some new things by me that are good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
My favorite. The one I care the most about, I guess, is my softball league because it is the most expensive. So it's not that expensive, but it would have been nice to have won that. Oh, well.
What about, I thought you cared most about our Superflex league.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I'm better.
Who won that league?
You didn't win that league.
Yes, I did.
You did? That sucks. Oh, that's right. I refused to.
That was the league you refused to accept, despite the fact that I went back and looked, and I averaged 188 points over my last 5 weeks.
Your team wasn't that good.
I averaged 188 points per game over my last 5 weeks, with clearly the best team in the league.
Okay, let's take a break. More Dan bragging when we come back on FFT.
They want to take this place from us. My family is in danger. My wife is lost to me, and I don't have time.
1923, new season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I apologize for the small brag. I had to do it because Adam refused to accept and acknowledge my victory in that league because he was too sad about losing himself.
I have 1 week to fulfill my obligation as commissioner and pay out all my.
Yeah, I've been wondering where my payout is going to be.
Yeah, me too.
What the heck is going on there?
What league did you win?
FFT. I came in second. And I have a co-manager. I have to pay him.
You probably owe me money anyway, so you might as well just.
I think we already discussed this because
I don't remember. It's been a very long month.
Okay. The next question at our mailbag comes from Alex, and he says, "Dear Tom, Cooper, Patrick, and Jalen."
Tom, Cooper, Patrick, and Jay. These are got to be Knicks players, right? Patrick Ewing, Jalen Brunson.
I think it's Tom Brady, Cooper Kupp, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts. Did Cooper Kupp win Super Bowl MVP?
Must have been if he's being included in this.
I'm feeling like those are maybe the last 4 Super Bowl MVPs or something
Gotta
like
be
that.
it.
Or they're the Knicks. The question is,
I don't think Cooper Kupp.
I like how Dan hears one name and just goes for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta take chances in this game. I have a low hit rate anyway, so I figure I might as well fire early.
Oh, it says in the email, it says last 4 Super Bowl MVPs. I just kept reading. Adam, what app or website do you use to pull up your stats and data so quickly? Well,
true. He is very fast on it. I always wonder that too.
Because I usually have them in my notes. I mean, not usually, but I look things up before the show and I have them, but I'll show you all. I've showed it before. Jacob shows it all the time. This is True Media. This is a receiver report from the year, right? This is wide receivers, receiving yards in the regular season. There's an even better receiving. Go to our receiving dashboard here, and we can see things like ADOT, and we can filter. Like, you want to know who had the most catches of 30 or more air yards this year? Want to take a guess?
Of 30
or more air yards?
Yeah.
I'll go Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Minimum number of receptions? Doesn't matter or no?
No, just the most. Who had the most?
Alec Pierce.
Oh, it is Alec Pierce. It's got to be Alec Pierce.
It's Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Alec Pierce was.
I got it.
Good job, guys.
Not bad by us. Not bad.
It didn't take long to put these filters in there. Look it up. Also, Pro Football Reference is great. Pro Football Reference is where I get most of my 17 game paces, because you just go to a player's game log, click.
You're not trying to reveal how the Azer stat gets made. You don't go too deep into this. Keep the Azer stat a little bit of a secret.
Yeah, you click. Well, the Azer stat comes where you have to look at, like, okay, which game did they leave early? And then I have to
right.
do it. Like, for example, I'll give you an Azer stat on Marvin Harrison Jr. I looked at, he played 12 games, but in 3 of them, he played 51% or fewer of the snaps. So I remove those games. So if you take his 9, call them 9 healthy games, and the 9 healthy games actually does include 1 game against the Bucks where he left with 61% of the snaps.
He was having such a great game that day.
He was having a really good game.
He was.
I kept that one in there. If you just look at the 9 games where he played more than 51% of the snaps, Marvin Harrison Jr. averaged 8.9 non-PPR, 13.1 full PPR points per game. That would have made him wide receiver 20 per game. In a bad year for wide receivers.
The easiest one to know that Adam Azer stats is Josh Allen with his 1 snap every year and weekend.
Yeah, that's so.
This is where the Azer stats break down when you say, like, I decided to not include. You have these like qualifications that
usually do 50% of the snaps.
Sometimes get met, and then sometimes they have to be juiced.
What
are you doing?
You remind me kind of
like Bucky Irving, who in his rookie season wasn't playing 50% of the snaps, but was still getting every touch when he was on the field.
I don't think 50% of the snaps only matters for some player. Like, you're right. It doesn't matter for running back necessarily. It matters for a wide receiver, though, because the wide receivers that we count on are usually playing 80% or more of the snaps. All right. Tyler says, full PPR, 2 wide receiver league. Am I crazy for wanting to keep Omari and Hampton over CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors with the Mike McDaniel news?
Ooh. CeeDee
I mean,
Lamb.
I guess I'll ask the Dave question. Can you keep them forever? So, we may be talking about Amari Hampton as top 5 RBI, top 5 running back.
Fantasy baseball season
in 2027. Like, that's how good he could be.
I would keep him over Neighbors. I would not keep him over Lamb.
I wouldn't keep him over Neighbors if we get him for his career.
Right. If it's for his career, that's one thing.
I think the one thing, though, with both those receivers, like if Pickens is back and Neighbors is not ready to go, it's kind of easy.
True.
Can I tell you what concerns me with Hampton?
Are we sure that Hampton is going to take this Devon Achane role? Like, yeah, he was pretty fluid and better than people realized as a receiver at UNC, but he was not Devon Achane as a receiver.
Yeah, but take it a step further, though, Dan. What if he's Raheem Mostert and he scores 18 touchdowns?
Like, you think Dolphins could be that good? I guess it's possible if they get healthy on the O-line. It is possible.
I like
we've seen 2 very wildly different running back seasons out of Mike McDaniel during his Dolphins tenure, and both were great fantasy wise.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he loves to run the ball. But if you take away, he averaged 4.4 yards per carry. If you take away the game against the Giants, he had 1 carry all year, other than the Giants game, of longer than 20 yards. It was a 26-yard run against the Chiefs. He averaged 3.7 yards per carry in all games that weren't against the Giants. And I don't remember this exactly, but I think that Antonio Gibson, there was a year where Antonio Gibson was a 2nd-round pick in fantasy.
I do remember that.
And I think he had this profile where he just kind of beat up on some really crummy opponents.
Yep.
And Hampton's kind of the same way.
But you're talking about 2 very different players.
I know that. But he played the Eagles without Jalen Carter down the stretch. He played the Cowboys without Quinnen Williams down the stretch.
He also played without his tackles for the majority of the season.
I know. I was the highest on him. I think I had him as like RB4 or something like that. But I might take
You did that before McDaniel was hired.
I did, yeah. All right, this is a question from Brian. One of my favorite things about Dan is that he has a strong take on anything. So my question for Dan is, heads or tails?
Oh, yeah. It's tails never fails. It's always tails never fails. You have to, here's the thing with heads or tails. You have to make sure that you're going to pick a head or heads or tails, and you got to stick with that. If you're the type of guy or girl that's going to go, oh, I'll take heads today, I'll take tails tomorrow, that's where you screw up. Got to take your one and stick with it and be like that for life. Don't ever move off of it. When you start to move off of it, that's when you start to mess with the odds of it, right? Like over time, if you pick tails every time, you should win 50% of your battles. But then you also factor in that tails really never fails as people came up with that for a reason. It's because, just like anything in life, it probably happened a few more times than heads, at least theoretically speaking. So there is no real logic behind it, but I will say pick your tails or your heads and stick with it.
I have to apologize to some of the listeners. I thought I guess your questions, but I'm going to have to skip some of them. So Jim says,
just rapid fire them.
Yeah. Okay. Why haven't the Giants been linked as a top landing spot for Isaiah Likely?
I think we mentioned
there's been connections to Likely in the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be.
I think when Heath was talking about it, I know after Harbaugh was hired, I mentioned that. I think Heath was kind of saying, oh, Kelsey replacement in Kansas City or Pitt's replacement in Atlanta would be his best, maybe fantasy value spots because of coach, quarterback, etc. Those 2 places. But yeah, I think following Harbaugh to the Giants makes a ton of sense.
He's more likely to come now, though, because I did hear from we had a Ravens insider on our show, and they said that the Monken Likely situation wasn't great, and so he wouldn't have followed Monken. So I don't think he'll be going now to Cleveland, for example. Not that they need him.
Seems like Monken's a pretty stern guy.
I wish he was our offensive coordinator. This is a devastating development for the Giants. It is. They might hire somebody who has no play calling experience. That can sometimes go really awry.
All right, let's get to some tweets here. I had a few people ask questions about the Super Bowl, who to start in fantasy matchups, and I have not done my research yet. So next week, we'll have a full breakdown. And like it's not easy to know which Patriots wide receiver other than Stephon Diggs to trust right now. And you also have two great defenses, so it's gonna be tough to be.
I think there's only 2 slam dunks.
Walker
and JSN. Like anything else is up for grabs.
I don't consider Walker a slam. I mean, I understand where you're coming.
I consider Walker.
If you have to play a running back, you're playing Ken Walker.
Walker in any game Sharps doesn't play to me is a slam dunk.
I would agree.
Well, yeah, but he's going to be
matchup independent. I just think he's that good.
So expensive though.
You spend,
but it's worth it.
Is it worth it to go? I mean, it's not like Seattle has a pretty impossible run defense too.
Also, JSN with Christian Gonzalez might not be the best play.
There's no easy scenarios here in any situation, but you're playing the two best players based on what they've done. And so
Hunter Henry might be the guy who has
play, a little sneaky Hunter Henry. I could see that.
It's not even sneaky, but he might have the best matchup of anyone.
Speaking of Hunter Henry, I was doing some Mike Petzing research, and his time on the Browns staff as an offensive coach. So he was 2 years as the tight ends coach, 1 year as the quarterbacks coach. I think I have that right. Maybe it was 2 years as quarterbacks coach, 1 year as tight ends coach. 3 years as the offense coordinator for the Cardinals. So that's 6 years. 5 years, the tight end has been 1 or 2 in targets.
Nice.
Now, obviously, 3 of those.
You're talking about Drew Petzing?
Yeah. Jamey never gets his first name right, so now he says whatever he wants.
So there was a Mike Pettin. I think that's why.
I can't. I continue to call him Rob Petzing for some reason. And so, so after Adam corrected me,
I missed that.
After Adam corrected me, I just started making up names. But yeah. So, and can you guess who it was in Cleveland? The 2 times that it happened.
Wait, say the stat again. I was too focused on the.
So 6 years he's been an offensive coach with the Browns and the Cardinals. He was an offensive coach with the Vikings too, for example, but I didn't include that. So 6 years he's been an offensive coach. 3 with Cleveland, 3 with the Cardinals. Cardinals, he was the offensive coordinator.
I know who it was.
Wait, Adam, let me at least hear it.
No, I can't remember the.
Well, go ahead, Jamey.
I brought it up for a reason because you just mentioned something that made me think.
Finish, Jamey.
What the hell was that guy's
What
name?
are we guessing? I don't get what we're guessing.
Yeah,
Who were the tight ends?
Just tell me who the tight end was.
Oh, hold on. Nope. I want to get this. It was the guy who was the 1 year wonder guy.
Yes.
Well, hold on.
Gary Barnage.
Gary Barnage.
Oh,
You're so many years removed from Gary Barnage.
Yeah, Gary Barnage was a long time ago. You're right.
He's been there for 8 years.
No, it was 3 years with Cleveland and 3 years with the Cardinals. So the last 6 years.
I know. How is it not Njoku?
Because it was Austin Hooper twice.
Oh. Right. Gary Barnage. All right, let's go to some tweets. Dylan Raspberry says, "What are your thoughts on Parker Washington's dynasty?"
There's no way that's his real name.
I think it is.
Raspberries taste like raspberries.
I got a really random movie quote for you. Raspberries? I don't remember serving raspberries. Well, then it must have been a raisin.
What the heck was that from? That was pretty good.
Anybody in the chat? Raspberries? Give him an enema.
What the heck?
Thoughts on Parker Washington?
Drop the movie at least.
I will. I want to give people in the chat time to get it.
Nobody's getting that.
Parker Washington's dynasty value and rank your top 5 chain restaurants.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Wow. Parker Washington's dynasty value is I think very sell high right now, just because it's a small sample size and there's a lot of receivers on that team. But if you're not getting anything that's going to make you want to sell him, see how it plays out.
I'm not necessarily in on.
Movie was Dracula Dead and Loving It. Yes, Gamer Eric. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Good job.
Dracula Dead. I've never heard of that movie. I wouldn't even know what the box cover looks like. I wouldn't even know an actor in that movie. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Andy, you've never heard of Dracula Dead and Loving It?
Of course not. I've never heard of it.
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Oh, Mel Brooks, Leslie Nielsen.
Nielsen is Dracula.
Nielsen. I mean,
that movie sucks.
Oh man, there are some old actors. That's Harvey Norman.
It was funny at the time, but
when did this come out? 90s.
90s.
Wow. I had never heard of that.
All right, top 5 chain restaurants. It's tough.
I'll start by saying it's certainly not the one that I went to with Jamey when I visited Florida, because that one's going out of business. I just read today, just filed for bankruptcy.
That was one of my more enjoyable lunches.
I couldn't believe that he took me there. That was where actually the stick in the burger got its origin story. So
that's true.
So we won't mention.
I was just observing the end.
Just in case it comes back and it becomes a sponsor of the show or something. You got to be careful with ranking the top 5 here, because you don't want to offend anybody.
So first off, I mean, we're not obviously not talking fast food. We're talking anything that's a chain.
Yeah, I guess that's the question. Is it fast food chains or is it?
And what constitutes chain? Because I would put Los Patas at the top of the list because there's multiple Los Patas.
No, I don't think so.
That's true. I have some of those chains that have 2 or 3 restaurants.
Big chain.
So national
or like a major part of the country. Yeah.
National chain.
The only 2 that come to mind to me that if I see them, I'm like, I would love to go there. Chipotle and I love Chili's. love Chili's.
So
I'll tell you why
Chili's
I love Chili's. I love
used to
Chili's
be
as a
good,
parent
but it-
because if I do not want to speak to my children, they will just play on the little device, and
Yeah.
I'm
They have
good.
a device there?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I haven't been there in a while. But I love
Chili's used to be good when I was growing up, and now I got to be honest, I feel like it's fallen to the wayside, just like
I go to
Applebee's.
Duffy's. I go to Duffy's a lot with my kids.
Is that
Chipotle
cheap?
was another one that used to be good, and now you just
Oh,
get
no. Just stop. Chipotle's amazing. Just
not
stop.
anymore, man. Not anymore.
No, you're wrong.
Well, if you're gonna have Chipotle, you better order it there. Don't ever do the online order. You get like 60% less of everything when you order online for Chipotle, and I really feel like it's conspiracy.
No, you have the one bad Chipotle in America you live by.
No, everyone will agree with that. That the online ordering is definitely you're getting less in your bowl.
I
if you
love
want to
Dan.
order
We don't want to
online.
offend any sponsors.
I know.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have trouble here doing this. I mean, like Jersey Mike's used to be good, and now it's trash. I mean, there's just
What?
Yeah, Jersey Mike's done.
Okay, obviously you're trying to hold
equity bought it
everything
up,
up to the
it's over.
standards of your local prosciutto deli.
Yeah, well, obviously Deli's never gonna make the
Ridiculous.
mix. I'm trying to think of like any good chain. I don't really. You know, are there any chains that I love? I
Right.
think
You're done.
no, there are some. We got to think. Oh, In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger is amazing. That's a chain, is it not?
It's fast food though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
I
go
went
to
to
fast
Burger King
food.
last night. Had a great meal.
Burger
Throw
King.
that on there too.
Burger King's the
You went to
worst.
Burger
the
King?
worst fast
You?
food. That's like the lowest grade fast food you can go to. This is a tough segment for me.
Yeah, what are you
Trying to offend
doing?
people.
Like you just said, we don't want to be. We got to be careful. We don't want to.
I mean, we got to give opinions on chains here, Adam. What do you want from me? Most of them stink.
I like Burger King quite a bit, and my kids wanted it, so I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
Chipotle is amazing. Let me make that clear.
Oh, thanks, Dan. All right,
I've changed my
question.
opinion on it.
Next tweet is from T Demp. Says, "Not a
I
question,
love
but
every restaurant in America.
Adam, your take on The Wire is spot on. I'm in season 3, and it's
What?
so slow. Only reason I lasted this long is because it's raved about. Really average."
Come on.
So just so I'm clear, and for everybody listening, you skipped over all the questions that you wanted to get to read someone who agrees with your opinion on The Wire.
Yes.
That really wasn't a question.
Yeah, I mean,
Got it.
well,
It's such
yeah.
an awful take. It's just such it's the fact that this person is on season 3 and still hasn't picked up on it and finds it average. I can't even get into this. I really can't.
Okay, looks like T Demp
frustrating.
sponsor.
I don't want to offend any more people. I've already offended a lot with the food stuff, so I got to get off of this.
This one's from Gamer Eric, or should I say Gamer
Eric.
There it is.
Eric joined us in our mock draft yesterday. Did a great
Yes,
job.
he did.
Nice. You guys don't spend much time on kickers or DSTs, yet a massive majority of leagues utilize the positions. How come?
Now he asked about kickers and defenses, so I'm done.
I
I think,
the wrong
well,
two people here.
The kickers are random. You know, you're going to attach yourself to great offenses or indoor, situations to avoid any weather concerns. But for the most part, I think you could stream kickers and still be fine, especially with how good they are these days. Defenses, I think we talk about.
I agree. I get it
think
with the kickers, but not the DST.
I think the one thing that maybe we get lost a little bit in is talking about defenses just as their own entity. So like you'll ask us, questions about our rankings in relation to the main positions. We don't necessarily talk about the rankings of defenses, but we certainly spend some time on it on our waiver wire show. We certainly talk about it, and this defense is good, this defense is bad, this DST is worth, playing this week. It's probably just not something we focus on.
Yeah.
And then the second part of Eric's question, was, what is your guilty pleasure movie? If it's on, you stop and watch. It can't be something obvious like Dirty Dancing for Adam, Seven for Dan, or Predator for Jamie.
It wouldn't be 7.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about
for me either.
guilty pleasure.
I do. I
But
have a bunch.
to me, the movie is Parenthood. That movie I will never not watch. The Steve Martin movie from the
Never
80s.
seen it. Never.
Your
heard of it.
favorite Keanu Reeves movie of all time, too.
It's the best Keanu Reeves movie ever. Yeah.
That's a
the dumbest
ridiculous
thing you've ever
statement to make.
Well,
Such
I
a bad
think
statement.
I enjoy it. It's not a Keanu Reeves movie, but I think I like it better than any Keanu Reeves movie.
Speed. You like it better than the original Speed?
Oh,
Unreal movie.
so much better than the original
Speed
Speed.
is
Did
so
you really
good.
just
The
go
original.
Speed? I mean, he's been in The Matrix.
The Matrix.
And the Matrix. Holy crap! The best, one of the best movies of all time. What are you doing?
The Matrix is one of the best movies of all time now. I don't know about that.
For me, it's that
One of the best series of all time.
the original Matrix. Obviously, it fell off a little bit. The original Matrix, which I recently rewatched a year ago, is considerably. I'll say this: it's better than Rocky 1. It is definitely better than Rocky 1.
I can't name one. For me, it's there's so many things that almost every Marvel movie, if it comes on, I just stop.
Rounders for me is a big one. I've watched Rounders 1,000 times.
I will almost always leave Rocky, except for Rocky 5 on. Any Rocky movie that comes on, we'll just kind of just stay there.
Hey, I have a
Catch
question
Me
for
If
you.
You Can. Catch Me If You Can.
Any like good mob movie, like Goodfellas. Tom's just mentioned that. Like that's on, it stays. Matrix is on.
Catch Me If You Can is such a great movie, but I don't really. I
so
don't really find it
rewatchable.
to be so rewatchable because it's so long.
No, but you can jump in at any point. It's like fast paced in that, and you're just right into it.
Which movie?
Catch Me If You Can. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's so good.
That's great. It's great. I don't really want to rewatch it.
Minority Report's one for me. If that's on, I'll watch that to the end. I'll pick up at any point and watch that to the end. One of the more underrated movies.
Yeah. I like the ones that remind me of my childhood. So that's why I went Parenthood.
Okay.
I like the one.
By the way, back to the Chains thing. I want to shout out a chain I do like. Texas Roadhouse. You guys ever been to that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huge Texas Roadhouse fan.
They
That's
still have the peanuts
maybe
you
the
throw on
one
the floor?
chains I like.
A lot of peanuts. A lot of peanuts.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
I click on this. We get this question a lot from Grant. The letters behind me. Those are my kids.
Oh.
Initials.
Yeah, those are their initials. Those are actual kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
like
R is
hiding
for
in there.
Ronan. E is for Eli. S is for Simon.
Oh, one of your kids' name Eli?
Hmm?
Let's go.
ELY.
All right.
Yeah. Well, now he doesn't like your kid.
I'm not
And the last question from Eric. What was your favorite cartoon growing up and why?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Favorite cartoon growing up?
Well, my number one.
G.I. Joe for me. I still have this. This is how pathetic I am from my childhood.
That's not
Garbage can.
That's awesome.
Garbage can from my childhood.
That is cool that you still have that.
G.I. Joe. Yep.
G.I. Joe is definitely before my time, but trying to think the one I watched the most when I was a kid. I think it was probably Hey Arnold when I was a kid. I watched a lot of Hey Arnold.
Gosh, I can't remember. I did watch the Rugrats, but I was like
Rugrats, I watched that. I
And
was young.
I mean, I really like Pinky and the Brain, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite.
It was all Nickelodeon stuff for me. Nickelodeon.
I was
cartoons.
really. How were you not a Slime Time Live watcher?
I know. I always find that weird that I didn't watch Slime Time Live.
Has he ever met your brother in person?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, so the tennis match is going to be like
I really want to play him in tennis.
He's going to be like Goo Goo Eyes, right?
Adam said he's like considerably better than me. So now after that comment, I have to obviously I'm interested in playing.
He played a match. Listen to this. He played a match. You have to win two out of 3 sets. You have to win 2 sets, or if you split the first 2, you play a super tiebreaker. They
Okay.
lost the first set. He doubles match. They lost the first set like 6-2. They were down 5-2 and down 40-15.
Wow.
2 match points in the second set, and they came back and won.
That's crazy.
And they were down 8-4 in the super tiebreaker, and they came back and won. Like
That's
comeback kids.
best win of his life. It was amazing.
That is epic. Were you a part of that? Were you on his doubles team?
No, they played in Florida. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go. Tom and Jerry was my first.
So good.
I really
Did you
liked.
watch the movies yet?
Tom and Jerry movies?
The 2 remakes? Yeah.
They exist?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know they.
Matrix. They exist in the Matrix.
My kids liked it.
All right. Well, that's good. Did they speak, or is they silent?
Tom and
movies?
Jerry speak? No,
Yeah, they don't speak in
essence
the old
of-
cartoons, right?
They kept the essence of what it is.
Did they speak though? I feel like they didn't speak.
No.
What was that other cartoon with the not Tom and Jerry, the one with the Pinky and the Brain?
I just said
That
Pinky and the Brain. Yeah,
Okay. That was a good one.
it was great. All right, folks. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. See ya.